there's a balance for everything. That's just, you know, in my belief structure. There's balance of, you know, those three things I tell you, mind, body, and spirit, but there's a work balance. There's like work and relationship balance, work and life, work and family, and your thoughts trigger things to happen, okay? So when you are focused on negative, everything sucks, my fucking life sucks, yeah, it's gonna suck because that's what you're thinking about. Humor is huge. You go back to those things that you know. And that's what I know. I'm funny. I try to be funny. I have a good sense of humor. So I use those things to get my message across, which my message being, you know, personal fitness and wellness. I would rather you feel completely comfortable with me because I'm a person, you're a person, we have a personal relationship. We're doing something super personal together. I know what it's like to be vulnerable. I'm still vulnerable now, but I've been in like really like vulnerable situations, and I think that's why I can relate to so many people. That's why I'm able to touch them. And all it is honestly being positive, shifting the way that you're thinking. Shifting the way that you're thinking is shifting the universe that's in you to reflect outside.
On this week's episode of American Real, you'll get pumped up with fitness trainer and wellness coach, Ariel Angelica Hendricks. Ariel lays it all down with her intense persona as she reveals her depth and skill set, motivating her clients into physical, mental, and spiritual shape. Learn how Ariel beat all the odds after being struck by a car while attending to her sister's disabled vehicle on the side of the road. Then, see how Ariel turns her passion into her business by going after her dreams. After watching this episode, you'll feel as though you went through a physical workout, which is motivating, inspiring, and empowering. Speaking of empowering, if you're interested in expanding your mind and getting out of your comfort zone, enroll in the American Real 21-Day Challenge through our free private Facebook group, American Real Live Tribe 21. Your challenge will be to post a live 60-second video each day for 21 straight days. Sound easy? Well, give it a try. You'll build skills of confidence, leadership, and grow your network in a safe and secure environment. Click on the link below to join us on this incredible journey. And now, without further ado, I bring to you Miss Ariel Angelica Hendricks.
This is American Real. I am Roger Brooks, and today we continue with our Millennial series and welcome fitness trainer and wellness coach, Ariel Hendricks. Ariel, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
It's great to have you. And I wanted to start out because I've been watching your Facebook, been keeping an eye out. There's a lot of people that train with you, people I know, which is really cool. But you have two phrases on your Facebook profile that I'd like to ask you about.
Ooh.
The first is conquering the jungle of my own mind.
Oh yeah.
And the second is simply evolve. Can you explain what those mean?
Ooh, those are loaded questions. Conquering the jungle of my own mind. I saw that somewhere and I was like, wow, I feel like that's what I'm trying to do all the time. Because it is kind of at least my own mind, I feel like it's a jungle, and there's plenty of things growing in there often. Some of them you have to cut down, some of them you move aside so you can get through and then evolve, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah.
And you just have evolve on its own, as its own word. We all evolve, right, every day.
Yes,
And
hopefully.
yes, some of us are more aware of that than others, but being a millennial, I'm impressed that I wasn't thinking about evolving when I was my mid-20s.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you? What are you trying to do when you talk about evolving?
Well, I have it there really, first of all, as a reminder to myself. I have lots of reminders. I need the reminders all the time just because of that jungle that I feel like I'm in often, whether it be like work or anything, lots of stuff, really busy. I feel really busy in my mind a lot. So it's a reminder to myself, just like, that's funny, like my tattoos are like reminders to myself to do this or do that. And evolving is huge. That's huge. And like you said, like people my age, I don't think that, or younger than me, I don't think that we're really thinking about evolving. We're just kind of living in the now, which is something important also. But you have to be living in order to do things in the future. And hopefully they're good things, or the things that are supposed to propel you forward and make life easier for you or for other people. And that's kind of what that means to me. And I think that was instilled in me way younger. My mom said, I'm probably going to talk about this later, but my mom, she raised me that way, to be aware of myself and my feelings, my thoughts and things, and how they affect other people. So I think that's mostly what that means. It's a reminder.
That's great. And
Yeah.
have you always had this big energy about you?
Oh, yeah. I think so. It's what I hear, at least. But, I don't know that I notice it as much as other people do. But, yeah, I think so.
And where does that come from? Was it your upbringing? I know, are you the youngest?
I am.
In your family?
Yes.
So that need to survive, or were you the spoiled one?
I think if you ask my sisters, that I was the spoiled one. But I think it's just how I am. It's funny, I think when I first started training, my godmother came to my class, and I was just like a big, huge ball of energy all the time. I try at least to be a big ball of energy. And my godmother goes, I'm just going to stop her really quick. I just want you guys to know that she's like this all the time. It's not an act. Like, she's always like this. I feel like that, either on 9 or 10.
That's great. And that ball of energy, I also hear that you have these different personality sides to yourself. You could be nice, you could be funny, or you could even be that, badass trainer that you are. Do I have that right?
Yeah, 100%. I actually, I didn't really ever think of it that way till one of my good friends that I met her at the gym. Her name is Lynn. She actually said that to me. She's a photographer, so she has like this eye for things like that. And she was like, oh, Ariel, you have all of these sides to you. She's like, you're like smart. You could be the sexy Ariel. You could be the badass Ariel, but you're also like this like cool one. She's like, you gotta tap into those things. And she like wants to photograph that kind of stuff. That's what she has that eye for. So
Sure.
I didn't really think about it until she said that to me.
And I think that's a big compliment and a great quality, to have different traits that people can relate to and also admire.
Yeah.
So I think in your business as a personal trainer, not only are you getting people in physical shape, but as you call it, wellness coach, you also have that opportunity to affect people mentally.
Yes, 100%. I talk about that often with the people that we train. We call them members, not clients. But the members, I talk about that often, especially when we meet like one-on-one, because usually we're in a big group setting, and if I meet with them one-on-one, I like to make it known that I feel that I am a wellness coach, because it's just I think that describes me more, because I like to think more about the physical aspect of it. It's really, which is, I pick these things from all these different people that influence me. This is something from, who was this? Who said this to me? Jane Eric said this to me, that it's like a mind, body, and soul thing. If they're not in balance, then you're not in balance. You know what I'm saying? So I can't expect somebody to come in and train with me and just like focus on the body. They have to have that positive energy, their positive spirit, and all of that in order to be successful. So I draw from all of those things, especially when I talk to them one-on-one, and then I think that's how we relate to one another.
That's great. So are you kind of sizing someone up when you first meet them and they come in to train with you? Is that, do I have that right? I mean, do you need that connection before you start actually training them?
I feel like when people, actually this is funny, when people first come in to meet me, I literally sit down, we sit across the desk, which is not really my favorite thing, because it's just not, but my first thing that I say is like, hey, hi, I'm Ariel, nice to meet you. First of all, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm super unorthodox, so I'm probably gonna like lean a little bit, and I might swear a couple times while we're talking, because I just get excited, and usually that's where I break that whole like sizing up thing, because then they're like, oh, she's a normal person, I can talk to her, and then we can talk. Then from then on, then we have a thing already, just because I got that out of the way. You know, you can't, I feel like you just can't talk to people when they're like a stick in the mud. I'm not that, you know, so it's nice to I am just upfront, and I just am who I am all the time, and I think that's why I have, I don't like to say that I have success, but I think that's why people are able to relate to me, and then we're able to overcome these things together. It's a really personal relationship, you know?
Yeah, and I could see that. And do you see any resistance from people in the beginning? Are they a little bit afraid to get into this training? I mean, it's a big commitment.
It is.
And they meet you, they see that you're pretty serious, and
most of the time.
I'm just putting myself in their shoes, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is now real. Do they ever talk to you about that, or is that just part of the natural
Oh
process?
yeah, I feel like that's one of the first things people say. They're like, I'm nervous, and I'm like, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous at all. There's no reason, especially being that, you know, they come there asking us to help them in whatever capacity. So that's the first thing. That's like puts you in a spot, like a vulnerable spot. So you can't take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take advantage of that. You're coming to ask me for help, then I'm going to do what I can to help you. But you can't be closed off and, you know what I'm saying, feeling nervous or anything like that if you're going to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
part of that whole balance thing. Like, okay, you're here, let's go. Let's do it.
And as a personal trainer, how important is it to be comfortable in your own skin?
Oh my gosh, it's so important, because if I'm not comfortable, then how are these people going to be comfortable? If I look like I'm nervous in a group of 25 plus people all together, if I'm nervous, then they're going to be like, this bitch doesn't know what she's talking about, I'm leaving. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not. I've always been really comfortable in a big group. I'm more comfortable in a big group than I am with like a small one or like one-on-one with people, I think. I feel.
Why is that?
Ooh, that's a long-winded answer also. I think it's because I actually am pretty uncomfortable. I'm actually a pretty shy person. I remember, this is hilarious. I remember once I was in middle school or high school, and my mom was taking me to meet her best friend from high school and her kids that were like my age, and I literally had like a breakdown. Like I was so nervous, like painfully shy. I didn't want to meet them. I was like, oh my gosh, what if they think I'm weird? Because I am weird. Fuck it, I'm weird. So I have learned to embrace that now, but I actually am pretty, and I like to keep to myself a lot of the time. So.
And is that something you've had to overcome over time?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think I do it pretty well at this point. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like used to it, but if ever there's a time that I like, you know, go back to just being by myself or like not out in the public eye or something, then I feel more used to that. Maybe that's what it is I get used to being in a certain mode, and then when I have to come out of that one, then it's like, oh, it's a big shock.
And I think a lot of people could relate to this, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel deep down that it's putting up a front to cover up, something that's an insecurity?
Absolutely. I have so many insecurities still, even now.
And that's okay, right?
We
all have insecurities.
Absolutely, you
should.
should.
We just have to work on them.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have insecurities, then shit. Like, somebody signed me up for your class. Like, how? How do you not have them? You know what I'm saying? But like, this is part of that, what I was talking about, is evolve. You have to embrace those things, feel comfort into them. You like fall into them and feel it, and that it is what it is. And then you progress from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We have to grow from those insecurities, recognize them, and
that's
then
the first step, is recognizing
them.
them.
That's right. Yeah. Awesome. So let's talk about, I understand you went through a pretty serious car accident.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
God, that sucked. Do you want me to tell you the whole story?
Please.
Okay. So, what happened? I'll start here. We were out, my sisters and I and one of my friends. We were out, and my mom always was like, "Oh, leave early because people are crazy, driving drunk and such." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So we were leaving, and I had seen my sister. She was living close to downtown, so she like was walking. She was walking across the Clinton Street Bridge, and we were going that way. So we stopped to pick her up so we could take her home, and we were literally standing. Like we pulled over to pick her up. We were standing there. It was my sister, Alana, and my sister Ayana. They're twins. And then myself. We were standing there talking. I'm literally like talking to them just like this. And then 2 seconds later, it's just what I heard. I heard it. I didn't like see anything. Nothing. They didn't see anything. Like.
And you were standing outside the car?
Yeah, we're standing like right by it. And I heard that, and then everything was black. And then I woke up, and I heard my sister Ayana, I think it was, on the phone with the ambulance, and she was like, "Oh my God, my sister just got hit by a car," blah, blah, like yelling. And I was immediately furious. I was like, "Fuck, that's me." That's literally what I was thinking. So I was on my hands and knees, and I like woke up, and the first thing I saw was I was looking at my hand, and I had blood and teeth in my hand, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" I was so pissed. So
were you conscious? I mean, were you?
I was, because this is when I regained consciousness. I was looking in my hand like, oh, and I was mad. I yelled. That's how I am. I yelled, and I was like, ah! And I literally jumped up after I got hit by a car, jumped into my friend's car, and I was like, "Take me to the hospital." She's like, I don't know where it is. She wasn't even from here. And so she drove me to, like, back towards it. I was like telling her where to go, like, ugh. You know, you're in shock at that point. So it's like all adrenaline. So she pulls up at a stoplight. It was, what was it, Court Street, I think, and State Street. You know how they have it blocked off when the students are there, and there's like an ambulance there. I literally jumped out of the car and like ran over to the ambulance and was like, "I got hit by a car," like holding my face. And they were like, "What?" And I was like, I like showed them, and then I just hopped in. And
So what were your injuries?
I broke my mouth is basically what it was. I had shattered my palate, so the top part was like all like gone. I lost all of these teeth. I fractured my jaw in 2 places, and like, you know, concussion and stuff. I only have one little scar, so that's cool. But yeah, then I had emergency surgery, and they had to like put this like bone graft stuff like up in the top of my palate and stuff, and then like sew it up. And I had to have my bottom teeth wired in because they were like up and back because of the way that I hit the top of the car. She hit the back of my legs, and then I like rolled and hit the top part where the top of the car and the windshield like meet. Right. That's where my face hit. So it was just there. So that's really lucky. I always say that. I'm always like, at least I have legs.
You look at the positive side.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was the recovery like?
I feel like the whole recovery, I feel like even that same night, I was basically just trying to make everybody else comfortable. Because, you know, can you imagine my poor mother getting a phone call like, Ariel just got hit by a car. Right. So this poor, like my whole family, I have the like best support system ever in the whole world. So like my mom, my godfather, my godmother, like everybody was like there, and they all look like terrible because they're like, holy shit, like look at her. But I'm just like, hey, we're fine. I'm like, everything's fine, don't worry. My legs work, everything's fine, we'll be great. So I feel like that I was that way for a long time, trying to make sure that everybody else was.
You were more concerned about that.
Yeah, 100%. Like they were cool with how I was, and especially my poor sisters. Like they were probably like they saw that. So I tried to be. I feel like I'm like that a lot of the time. I take a lot.
Being strong for others.
Yeah, I feel like I do that often. So that's basically what I was trying to do during that. I had how many root canals? Like 8.
Wow.
On top of the maxillofacial surgery, and then had to get like my wisdom teeth out because I had to get braces, and then I had to finish that. Like they had to move my tooth. Oh my God, it was horrible. Like what was I, like 20 something? This is like all of my younger 20s. So like.
So was it a several year process?
Oh yeah, it took 6 years. I just finished.
Wow.
Just finished in what was it, October? Or right before that, I finally have like my permanent teeth now. I was walking around with not teeth for a while, like no teeth, and then I had a partial, and then I've gone through a couple of them because I had to like move it and shave it, and God, I just looked terrible. It was terrible.
Well, I think it shows your strength and determination. You know, that's you as a person.
Yeah.
And if you could go through something like that, and I'm sure all your friends and family were utterly impressed with. You know, your perseverance through that. But I'm curious, did you still work? Did you still train during this process?
Yeah, I don't think I was training actually at this point.
When did you start training?
I don't know. Maybe like 5-6 years ago, I think. So I guess that was when that all started. That's a long story also, how that happened. So the accident happened while I was still in college, and I had a scholarship to play lacrosse at BU, and I had an injury, so I redshirted, and then I just didn't play anymore. And I stopped going to school after my accident because it was just too much, you know. And then this was a lot of things all at once, I guess. A lot of things, like life stuff happening all at once, and then I just didn't feel right, especially right after my accident. I was like really off, like I felt really off, like in my mind, and it would go out into my life, and things would just not be the way that I expected. And I'm a planner, so like things not going the way that I want them to really throws me off. So.
Did the accident trigger this?
I think so. If you ask my mom, she will say yes. Mm-hmm. But I think so. So, you know, life continuing to happen. And I feel like shit, man. I always like getting shit on. But I still, you know, try to smile through it. But at one point, I was just in a really dark, bad place. And at this point, I was like, we should do something about this. And I like went to therapy, and I was on like antidepressants and things like that, and it didn't seem to help me. Some things actually made them worse. So at this point, I'm like literally losing my shit, like super dark place, like suicidal. So I was like, Mom, I think I should go to the crisis center. Okay, so I did. I went there, and I don't remember how long I was there, maybe like 8 days or something. And there is where I find out that I am actually bipolar. That's cool. So I'm like, yeah, let's add this on top of all the other shit.
They determine that through tests?
Yeah, you have to like do all these long tests and stuff. And while you're there, you go to like different therapies, and different kinds of things to like help you and give you tools to like feel better and what have you. And of course they put you on like medication because it's Western medicine, so that's like what they do. And
you weren't good with that, it sounds like.
I'm not a fan, not really a fan of like medicine like that, and this experience is probably why. I mean, it helped, it definitely helped, and I'm like very happy that I went to do that. It's just another layer to me, you know what I'm saying, another layer to who I am as a person, and my experiences, and why I feel like I'm able to even help people that are in the positions that they're in, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because I can relate. But anyway, yeah, so I am bipolar 2, so I have like a lower low than most people have. I don't have like really bad like manic episodes. I just like super low for a longer time. So I'm really sensitive as it is anyway, so then things that trigger that make me like plummet, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that happened.
And on the high side, what is that? What is it like?
Just like super wild, like doing stuff that I wouldn't usually do, you know what I'm saying? Or staying up for a couple of days and just being all like super excited and just too much. It's just too much stuff that's not that good. But I don't have those
Swings.
like I don't have those like big swings like that because I get my energy out often. But to go back to your question, is while I was there, I was evaluating like what do I want out of my life, because I don't want to end it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what is it that I actually want out of my life? And that is when I went back to, well, what do I like? What do I like and what am I good at? I like training. I like exercise. I'm fucking good at it. Like that's what I'm good at. So why don't I focus on that? So that's when I actually decided that this is what I'm going to do, because here I am in this place because of something terrible, and they're teaching me this stuff so that I can better myself. I should use this, and I should use what I know to help other people. So this is when I started to study. I studied all of that. I got like my certifications and all of that. I was training privately. Yeah. And then I was training privately, and then after a couple of years, then I found Derek. I love him so much. And then now here we are.
And that's awesome, because just yesterday, Nick Sorrenti was sitting in that chair, and he was talking about something very similar, and that is finding your why, basically finding your purpose. And it sounds like in that moment, you were finding your why. You were 100%. Finding your purpose.
Yeah.
So after that, you come out, and then now you're making a decision that you want to become a trainer. So you go through your certifications and all that, and now you're doing what you love, right?
I love it. Yeah, 100%.
So let's talk about your work.
Okay.
'Cause I think it's fascinating that when people could do something they love, first of all, for a living, that's the best of everything, right? So you're doing it, you're living it. Tell us what a typical day is like for you.
They're great. I love them. Honestly, in short, I'll say that I literally get up and go hang out with my friends all day. That's literally what I do. So I get up around like 4:15 or so. I get there around like 4:40, 4:50, open it up. It depends on the day, but the classes, the way that we stack them, it's like kickboxing boot camp. Then I have those, and then I have maybe a little break, and then I have my private clients in the later morning, and then I'm off usually, or I take some meetings, and then I'm off. Then I come back in the afternoon around like 3 or so, and we do the same kind of thing. And it's great.
But it's
great.
A long day.
Yeah, it's really honestly not that long of a day. Sometimes they're longer than others, depending on like what I'm actually doing or what kind of, if I have a bunch of meetings or whatever. Like those are longer because I'm a person that has to like be up and moving and stuff.
And I guess the point is, if you love what you're doing, it's probably not a long day.
No, it's not at all. It's not a long day at all. I don't work. That's how I feel. I'm not working. I'm like doing stuff that I like doing. Like I'm doing something I love doing actually, and that's it. It's great. I love hanging out with the people. I love teaching them how to do stuff. I love how we interact. We all have like such great chemistry all the time, and the people I work with are fucking awesome, and it's just great. I literally have a great time every single day. You know, there's a couple of times where it's like something annoying happens, but it's never like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, no, I'm doing this forever, actually.
That's great. And I'm interested in learning more about kickboxing.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Kickboxing is great. Derek let me like create that program myself because I'm a second degree black belt. That's like something that I've done my entire life, 19 years now. I got my first degree when I was 13, and this I did with Shihan Renee Dado at Yosai School of Karate. Love her so much. Huge part of my life, like huge. I think that even when I instruct now, I have mannerisms that I learned from her and stuff that I like that she has said that I learned from her, and it's great that I have able to carry that over into what I do now. But yeah, my class it's very fun. I sometimes have to like remind myself that it's a women's fitness class and like, okay, calm down, you're not like training fighters, but that's how I train them anyway.
So give us an example. What are you doing?
So there's usually station work, but like usually on the bags I like do a couple of combos, or I let them do whatever they want. Like,
what's a combo?
It's like a sequence of like punches and kicks and
okay. So
oh easy. Yeah, it'll be a sequence of punches and kicks, or I'll tell them like, okay, you get a freebie, you could do whatever you want. I'm like, whatever you saw in Power Rangers or Mortal Kombat, whatever, do it on the bag for this amount of time, and we'll go over here and do this. It's fun.
So I know we're gonna have a session.
Yeah.
Maybe later this week.
Perfect.
Will you show us a couple of those moves so we could put it in the video?
Absolutely.
Okay. Great.
Absolutely.
Great. What is the commitment level to yourself to be a personal trainer?
It's big because you need to lead by example. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person, and everybody knows that. Like everybody there, they know that I'm definitely a person. I'm not eating perfect all the time. I am not working out every day. You might think that I do, but I do things in the right amounts for myself to make sure that I am setting a good example 96% of the time.
Right.
I try.
Right. But personal trainers are human. That's the point,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, what did I eat? Oh my gosh, I'll tell you what I ate for breakfast. I literally ate my Chinese takeout from last night for breakfast this morning. Crushed it. It was great. It's one of my favorite foods, so that's what I ate, you know.
But you're physically active
Yes.
a good part of the day.
Yes.
So if I'm coming in to train with you for an hour, you're doing that with multiple people throughout the day, right? So
Right.
If you were to add it all up, how many hours a day would you say you're active?
It depends on the day, actually. It depends on the day and what we're doing. I honestly, at some points in the day, I don't even have to demonstrate stuff because they have it down pat already, so I can just say this, and this, and they've got it. If I have a bunch of new people, then I demonstrate everything, but I do like a couple of things every class. But when I work out myself, it's long. It's long and it's strenuous. And
walk us through that. What do you do?
My own stuff. I'll probably do a little bit of a warm up, and then I try to do a heavier lift. I had surgery, so I like haven't been doing it that much. But
And are you talking arms or what?
all
Heavier
of it,
lift?
all of it.
Okay.
It depends on the day. I like to split it up. I'm not really like a muscle group kind of person. I kind of do it by movement pattern, just because that's like what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really split it up that way, but it'll be like I'll get my heart rate up, then I'll do some heavy lifting, whether it be upper body, lower body, and then I'll do some core stuff, and then I'll do some conditioning. And the conditioning is never easy. Never easy. I can't give myself that much of a break, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll probably work out 3-4 times a week for like an hour and a half or so. Or if I have that time, then I would do it for or if I don't have that time, I will do it for a shorter amount of time, maybe twice in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if I have to, I can jump into a class.
But you're exercising a lot.
Yeah, I try, honestly. I mean, there are times where I don't, like, and that's what I'm talking about, those lows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When I have them, I don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do anything. I don't have interest in anything. And people would think that's strange because of what I've described myself as, you know what I'm saying, or what other people see me as. Couldn't imagine that there's a time that Ariel is not bouncing off the fucking walls, but it's true. I'm like, that's who I am. It's part of who I am. It's like there are times where I don't want to do anything, so I literally will not do shit. I will lay down and not do a goddamn thing for however long. But I can turn it on for work. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my livelihood, and I have to set that example for those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yep.
And that's like what I'm talking about is I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I have to do that for them. That's not for me at that point. At that point, it's not for me. Like, I'm not getting up and doing this stuff for myself. I get up and I do it because I know that they need me.
And that's really important. I mean, they're counting on you. You know they're counting on you. And even though you might be going through a tough time yourself, you're strong enough to pick up and be able to show up and give it your all, which is wonderful.
Which is nice. There are times where you can tell that I'm off. You know what I'm saying? When I'm like super low, then you can tell that like I'm like really off, and they can tell, and they're like, Ariel, you're okay today? And I'm like, oh yeah. Or like my boss, he'll be like, hey, what can I do? Can I help you? And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I gotta get it together. You know, like then after that, then I'm like, snap out of it. Those are those reminders. Right. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of them. And
can I ask you, are you still taking any medicine? How does that work?
Nope, not at all. I barely even take like cold medicine because it's like I just don't want it. It's not supposed to be in my body. I don't think it's not stuff that I need. You know what I'm saying? If there's something that I need, then I could do that holistically. That's what I'm into. I'm into like holistic healing that way, and centering myself and getting my mind where it needs to be. Even though that might be like so hard sometimes.
Through meditation?
Yeah. I haven't been meditating as much as I should lately, just because of how life is playing out right now, which is good, not in a bad way. Life is going like really great, but I just don't really like believe in pharmaceuticals like that, you know, because way back when I was on them, it would work for a while, and then it would just make me feel sick or tired or like sluggish, and that's just not
yourself.
Me, yeah, right. And I could tell that I'm not myself, and I would feel off and cranky and like be a bitch for no reason, and I'm not gonna 100% blame that on that stuff, but that's just how I was, and that's not how I wanted to be. So I feel that now that I'm not on that, I feel more myself, and that's what I want to feel like. I want to feel like how I'm supposed to. Right. If I have those ups and downs, then I have to deal with them the way that I was taught to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Rather than like drug myself to like, no, fuck that, I'm not doing it anymore.
And when you say holistic healing, what does that entail?
I think it's being mindful. You have to be mindful and be able to recognize those things. That's it. That's how I feel. It's like you have to have that.
So it's all in here.
Most of it. I feel like it is. That, remember that mind, body, and soul thing. I have to be mindful so that I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? That's like the soul part is more like whatever it is you believe in. You know, you could pray.
Sure.
You could
the higher power.
Yeah, higher power of some sort. You have to, tap into that kind of thing. I believe in God, obviously, and but I believe in other thought processes on top of that. That being mindful of this, and then taking care of myself on top of it, and I have control over this. This is usually where I start. Is getting my shit together, exercising, getting that energy out that I have when I'm up here, getting that energy out, or when I'm down here, pulling myself out of it and doing that stuff, because then you're releasing all of those hormones that are going to make me feel better. Then I can be mindful of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. What do you say to someone like me, who I was an athlete growing up, but literally in 20 years, I have not exercised on a regular basis. I mean, I like to hike, I like to play a little tennis, but I miss it. I miss it. I always blame my work and being too busy. But like anything, like we talked about earlier, when you put your mind to something, you usually can get it done. So what do you say to someone like me who knows they need to exercise more but doesn't?
Get your shit together. Honestly, that's what I would say. You know that being an athlete, you know that. You can talk to athletes a different way than you can talk to just like a housewife. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to kind of like coddle them. I don't have to talk to you like that. You're an athlete. You know what you have to do. Yeah. You know you have to do those things. It's a personal accountability that you need at that point. You know what I'm saying? And
do some people need a trainer?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I feel that honestly, anybody could benefit from having a trainer. I could benefit from having a trainer. It's a couple of things. It's knowing what you're actually doing things that are effective for you, having that knowledge base. That's really important because you could go to the gym for 10 hours a day and still not get what you're supposed to be getting out of it because you're just doing random stuff. Most of it is just a filler of you just sitting around, not doing much. But that part, knowing what you're doing, knowledge, and then the accountability factor, it's like having to check in with somebody is big. Yeah.
And that's okay, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's great. It's actually good if you recognize that you need that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people could benefit from it. Right.
Yeah, my wife works out, I think I mentioned to you before, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really impressed.
I love her.
And I wish I could do it. She doesn't need a trainer. I mean, she could probably train people because she's so knowledgeable, but she's self-taught. She knows her body well, and there's not too many things I envy in life, but that's one of them is that I wish I had the personal strength to, and I think I speak for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had the personal strength to exercise, to train, to, get my body into better physical shape. As I'm getting older, I noticed that, okay, I'm not as strong as I used to be. And I don't like that feeling.
Things get more difficult, right?
They do. They get more difficult. So I'm trying to get past myself so I could get to a place where I'm actually, in some type of a rhythm to start exercising.
To doing it regularly.
Yeah.
Consistency is key. We'll go back to what you said about Nick. He said, find your why. That's huge. You have to find out why. Why is it that you want to start exercising regularly? Why do you want to be active? Why? You have kids, right?
Yes.
Okay, you need to be able to keep up with them, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge one. What are your numbers like at the doctor? Like your blood numbers. Those are the things that I ask people when they come into me. I'm like, okay. They're like, oh, I just want to lose some weight. And I'm like, good. So does everybody else in the world. And I'll say, now, really answer the question. Dig in. Why?
Yeah.
And they're like, because I feel uncomfortable. That's it. Those are one of those things you have to just break through. I'm like, okay, now, get into it. Really get into it. What's up?
Yeah.
Why are you here? Because I just don't feel comfortable in anything I'm wearing anymore. You don't feel strong anymore. Who wants to feel like that? You don't want to be winded walking up the stairs.
Right.
So those are the things. I'm like, you need to find your why, figure out why it is that you want to have a consistent regimen of working out, and then it'll be easier. And then those are the things you have to think about. Then you goal set from there.
Well, like I asked you before, if you're willing to take me on as a client, I would love to put myself to the test.
For sure.
And see if I could do this.
Yeah, you should see what
next year when I'm sitting here, you'll notice a difference.
Yes, looking good.
And I'll have a t-shirt on.
Perfect.
How important is humor?
Oh, humor is huge. Humor is huge. Like I was telling you, after my accident, literally, I was sitting there with this sheet or something over my face because it looked grotesque. My poor mother, her face was just, bah. Anyway, I would try, so I would just make them laugh. And they would love it. And they were like, oh, okay. It's not that bad. Life is still gonna go on. This is gonna be tough, but we can still do it. And I do that now with my members, and also the people that I meet every day, like that are inquiring about the gym. That's the first thing I do, is I make them laugh.
And it makes people comfortable,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Is you have to be comfortable. So being able to make people laugh, I think, is maybe even what sets me apart from other people. It just comes naturally to me. A lot of my family, they're all very funny. So you draw from different mannerisms, and I think that's really why I'm funny, because I'm animated. Somebody told me that, like, you're literally like a cartoon, and I'm like, yeah. Like I'm animated. I'm excited, and I really do just enjoy living. So it's fun. It's really fun. I love to tell jokes. I tell jokes and tell stories to my classes all the time, so they can get through the shit that I'm putting them through, and they think that it's fun, but it's really not. Right. It's not. But humor is huge. Who said that? Was that something Jane said to me also? Jane said that to me also. She was like, you go back to those things that you know. And that's what I know. I'm funny. I try to be funny. I have a good sense of humor. So I use those things to get my message across, which my message being, personal fitness and wellness. I use it in there so that, it all ties together.
Yeah.
I like to tie a lot of things together from a lot of different places. So that's big. Yeah.
You do something unique, I believe, with your work, and that is bringing the mental well-being as part of the physical well-being. And I think that sets you apart with your brand. Do you feel that way?
I think so. I definitely think so. Just because there's more, people are multifaceted, and you have to touch on those things. And it's really, it's important to include all parts of life in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I can't, I don't want to say that I'm responsible for parts of people's lives at all, but I think that making them like conscious of all of those aspects that should, be in tune, that helps. That definitely helps, and it makes it different, because you're not just coming to me and I'm teaching you how to stretch or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And are you thinking that through, or is that just you?
It's just me. Honestly, it's just me. I know that there are trainers that are like, oh no, I don't talk about like that stuff, and honestly, you're probably not supposed to, but I don't really care. I would rather you feel completely comfortable with me, because I'm a person, you're a person, we have a personal relationship, we're doing something super personal together. So I feel like we should be on that level. Like, I literally consider all of those people to be like friends. Like, I know a lot about them, they know a lot about me, and I want to genuinely help you. You can't be genuine if you're a fucking robot. You can't, and I'm not. And they know that. They know I'm not a robot. They know that I will share this. I will share, like, not all the like super personal stuff, but like I'll share about my niece is in the hospital, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, that's like stuff. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that I'm not saying that they should know that, but that will still show you that I am still a person and things still happen in my life. And, they want to know about it anyway. So.
And it's working for you, because I could see that it's reflected in people's comments. They 100%. Really care about you, not only the work that you do for them, but they care about you as a person. And I think you help make them feel better. Exactly.
Well, that's what I would hope. I would hope that, because that I care about all of those people individually. Honestly, like, genuinely care about them. Sometimes maybe even to a fault, because sometimes I like personally feel upset when like things don't go the way that I plan, like I told you. But I genuinely care, and you have to show that. You know what I'm saying? And I could say it 100,000 times, but if I don't show that, then it doesn't translate. That doesn't fit. It doesn't go.
Yep. You talked about balance earlier and how important balance is, but sometimes it's used, I think, too lightly, that word. Mm-hmm. We just say it. But when you think about balance and life balance, what does that really mean to you? on a deep level?
Balance. There's a balance for everything. There's a balance for everything. That's just, in my belief structure. There's balance of, those three things I tell you, mind, body, and spirit, but there's a work balance. There's like work and relationship balance, work and life, work and family. I'm saying work often, but
it's a big part of your life.
It is a huge part of my life. That's I'm not really sure. I don't know. I feel like my balance comes out of like my planning. You know what I'm saying? I try to plan so that I can balance things. Because if I feel off in one of those three areas that I keep talking about, then just everything is off.
Yeah.
I just feel like everything is off. Like my time is off. I'm late for things. And then I get stressed, and then things are bad. But that's.
Do you feel balance in the actual fitness? So, give you an example. When I played baseball, balance was such a big part of everything I did and a big part of the game. So, whether it's the weight of shifting when you're batting, the weight that you demonstrate, whether it's waiting, if you're playing shortstop and you're waiting for the ball, balancing on the balls of your feet, the balance of getting underneath a fly ball, getting ready to catch it, balance when you're pitching and putting the weight on your back foot before you shift forward. So I thought everything I did in baseball was about balance. And then today, whether it's physical work or even mental work or life itself, balance just seems to be, in my life, the key ingredients. And you mentioned it earlier, so I was just curious if you think about it as deep as I do.
That was super deep. I love that. That was beautiful. I feel like I'm going to think about that like so much more often. I love that. And then I was thinking about myself and how clumsy I am. So maybe I'm not balanced.
But I would think in your work, when you think about kickboxing, anything, when you're lifting a weight, whatever exercise you're doing, there has to be balance or you'll be out of whack.
Out of whack. That translates right into life.
Yes.
Don't you think?
It does.
It translates right into life.
Yeah.
That's great. That is so beautiful. When I'm talking to somebody else sometime, I'm going to reference this. Hey, I was talking to my friend Roger one time, and if you are not balanced in this, you're not going to be balanced in that.
Yeah,
that's really honestly how it is. Back to my triangle.
Yep.
If it's off kilter like that, it's going to fall over. If I'm missing one of those pieces, then everything falls, Oh, beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
What do you think about the law of attraction?
Huge. I love it. You read The Secret, watch The Secret? Yeah?
Talked to Nick about it yesterday.
Yeah, I love that. It's so prevalent. That's a prevalent thing in my life. When I feel like I'm off balance, I watch that again. I watch it on repeat on Netflix because they have it on there. Watch it, everybody. I love that, the law of attraction. It's very true. Especially how you talk about your thoughts, and your thoughts trigger things to happen, okay? So when you are focused on negative, everything sucks, my fucking life sucks, yeah, it's gonna suck because that's what you're thinking about. Those are those things that I was talking about that I have to refer to when I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling those things. You have to remember, I can't keep on thinking that I'm going to stay down here. I have to remember all of the great stuff and then think about it, write it down, see it, visualize it, and then it will come to fruition. I honestly believe in that so much.
And how did you get into this?
I think the first time that it was mentioned to me, my mother had the book, I think, was the first time, or maybe she had a DVD of it or something, and I didn't pay any mind. God, kids are so dumb. Kids are so dumb. My mom has been telling me this shit for so long, and I'm always like, yeah. And the 4 agreements and stuff like that. All of the stuff that I live by now, she's been trying to instill this shit in me for so long, and I'm always like, nah, I don't have time.
But I think it was purposeful because at some point, it clicked.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Had she not been talking about it, maybe it would have never clicked.
She's just so smart. My mom is perfect. She's perfect. I love her so much, but I'll talk about her later. That's the first time that it was introduced to me. And then I think I stumbled upon it one time when I was just, clicking through my Netflix, and I watched it, and I was like, that makes sense. Because it played into some stuff that I was going through, and it really clicked, because things were positive for me at this point. The things that I was going through, they were positive things, and they were things that I was focusing on, meditating on, like all of that, and it was happening. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, a word that I would think about often is abundance. Abundance that's a big one that I like to think about,
Yes.
Or meditate on and pray about, whatever you want to call it. And that's what was going on, and it was happening. And then I watched this thing, and I was like, wow, that's what I'm doing. How cool is that? Yeah. It really does work.
It's really amazing when you put your mind to something, and when you tell yourself something, and when you really truly believe it, you can make it happen with anything in life.
Anything. Whether
it's work, whether it's abundance, whether it's good fortune, whatever it may be.
Anything. I try to tell this to people. Try to tell this to people all the time. And all it is honestly being positive, shifting the way that you're thinking. Shifting the way that you're thinking is shifting the universe that's in you to reflect outside.
No, well said, absolutely. But I think society brings us down. Society, news is so negative. People in general, for the most part, there's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of negativity. So it's up to the individual to do the things that you've obviously learned to do, things that I'm trying to learn to do, and many others out there, that we control our own mind. We control our own destiny. We can't always listen to society and, be on the negative side of the discussion.
Agreed, 100%. You can't. And that's hard for people to understand, though. It's really hard. You and I, obviously, we're still both learning it. It's not like I have this down pat and I'm perfect. But we're still learning it, because outside factors still affect us, because it's like all the time. It's relentless, the outside factors. But that's what I'm talking about, is you have to take that time for yourself. Take that time for yourself to sit down, think about something, you know what I'm saying, and clear your mind. Get centered. Get back to that. You know what I'm saying? That's huge.
What advice do you have for young people that, you mentioned, when we're kids, we really don't listen. And I'm sure there's going to be some young people watching you. What advice would you have for them on how they could get out of their own way, to be open to some new thoughts?
I think the best piece of advice would be to do the things that feel right. Do the things that feel right to you and that feel good to you, not what Janice thinks is good or what Bobby thinks is good, or like what's good for them. You have to do what feels right for you. I think that's so important, because you just get caught up with all of that outside stuff, and when you do, then you're not doing what's true to you. Okay, you can't get to your true self by doing what everybody else thinks is right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if it feels right, and you can tell if something feels right or if it's not. You can tell that. And if it feels right, then you do it. I say that a lot. I say that, jump, do it. Yeah. It might feel uncomfortable at first because it's not like the norm, but do it, jump. That's it.
So go with your gut.
Yeah.
Go with your instinct.
Yes, for sure. Because you can feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can feel if things are right. You can feel if I feel uncomfortable with this because it's not me. Don't do that. You feel uncomfortable with this because it might be like different, but you feel like that's what you should be doing, fucking jump, you know?
Good advice.
Yeah. Don't talk yourself out of it either. Yeah.
Because a lot of times people regret it.
Mm-hmm. And then you miss something. It circles back in time, but you shouldn't have missed it the first time, you know? Then you've wasted time, you've wasted life.
Yeah.
It's not forever. You don't get you don't get to do it again.
Right.
Like that passed, now you have to do something else.
Right. Let's talk about your mom.
The love of my life. She's
Tell us about
perfect. I could cry talking about her. Literally could cry talking about her. My mom
Why?
is everything. She's my whole life. Seriously.
Tell us.
Hang on. She, man, I don't even know where to start. She just is like my rock. She's gotten me through so many things. All of the things that I've told you about, she was the first person there all the time. And that's not even just for me. That's for my sisters, for her friends. Like I try to, honestly, I just want to emulate her. And I feel like I do. I feel like she and I are very similar, in our personalities, the way that we talk, the way that we understand things. And she tried to teach me all of this stuff from a young age. I'm still young, you know. She tried to teach me all of these things about, you know, being balanced and being a good person, and in her own way saying that we should, you know, do God's work, which is, you know, just being a good person, spreading love and joy to everybody, you know what I'm saying? She instilled that in me at a young age, because that's who she is. She's been through a lot of shit too, a lot. She's been through a lot, and I appreciate her more than she could ever know. I think I tell her that often. As I've gotten older, I would just randomly call her or text her and be like, thank you so much for everything.
That means so much to her, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's literally the most amazing person I know.
So tell us about her. Tell us, what are her characteristics?
She's funny. She's funny. She's very pensive. She's a very thoughtful person. And I think she's the most connected person that I know. She's very spiritual. She's when I was younger, I would always see her meditating or something, stretching. She's just very,
she's in tune.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. She's so in tune. And she's in tune even when she is feeling off. You know what I'm saying? Even when she's hurting for something or sad or happy, any of it, she's still in tune. And she always wants everybody's best interest. In her work too. She's what is she? She works at the nursing home at Willow Point. She's an administrator of some sort, of therapeutic recreation. She's the head of that. And she's so into it. She pours her heart and soul into that. And
Which
that's
is
what
so
I want to
important.
do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be like that. So is her wife, my other mother, Gloria. She's just like that. I'm I want to be like her too. She's amazing. They put their heart and soul behind everything, and I just appreciate them so much. They gave me the best upbringing you could ever ask for. I say that often. I say that to everybody. I had the most beautiful childhood. They're amazing. And they're definitely people that I would like to emulate. My mom is amazing.
Do you see a lot of yourself in her? Did she pass on some of those traits to you?
I hope so. I could only hope that I could be like either of them. I try, I think, and I think I'm doing okay, because they tell me that I'm doing all right. I hit rough patches here and there, but for the most part, I think so. I think that, and I say that to my the members at the gym. I'm like, I'm just trying to make my mom proud. That's all.
Yeah. And that, that's what it's all about, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. It's part of it, making them proud is doing what I should be doing, which is what I want. You know what I'm saying? I want to be spreading love and joy to individuals that I meet on like a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that. That's what I want. It makes me happy. So hopefully that would make her happy.
How important is self-love?
Oh, it's huge. I'm working on that. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. I'm not. I haven't been.
Why?
I don't know, just because those insecurities we talked about earlier. I have them. They're real. I feel a lot of the time that I'm subpar, or like I am missing something, or I'm not good enough, and I'm not sure why. I'm honestly not sure why, because my mom, she will tell me every day, would literally tell me every day how great I am. My sisters too. She's like, you're amazing. You're an amazing person. Have a great day. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's life experiences make you feel like you're less than. You have to remember that you are not. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that I'm a good person. I know that I am a person that has made mistakes, plenty of mistakes, but deep down I'm a loving, caring individual. So that's what counts, you know what I'm saying? But I have to keep reminding myself of that. Like, you're a good person. You are enough. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe that's why the word evolve is so important to you.
Huge.
Because you're continuing to evolve, continuing to grow.
Yeah.
We all are. Mm-hmm. And, we've talked about this a little bit before, but no one's perfect. We all have our insecurities. It's important to have family and friends, and even through social media today, it's okay, I think, to reach out if you need some help or if you need some love, and it's okay if you reciprocate on the other end and show people that, because some people don't have the family to get it from. They don't have the friends.
Or the support system.
Or the
that some
support
people
system,
have.
right.
Yeah.
So in my work, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to inspire, enlighten. So someone is watching today your interview and they see themselves in you, and they have the same, circumstances. No one is perfect. So I think it's great that you could express that, because I know it's going to help some people on the other side. It will.
Hopefully we can only hope. That's prevalent in my line of work, of course, because people feel that way. People feel that way often. That's why I like to be able to relate. You know what I'm saying? I like to be able to relate to that kind of thing, because I'm fucking vulnerable. Like, I know what it's like to be vulnerable. That was part of my, that's part of like who I am, my like mission statement, if you will, is I know what it's like to be vulnerable. I'm still vulnerable now, but I've been in like really like vulnerable situations, and I think that's why I can relate to so many people. That's why I'm able to touch them. That's why I'm able to do what I do for them. Like, even like you just said, like on social media, even just it's easy to like somebody's thing or say wow or like great, happy birthday, even something like that. Let somebody know that you care. That's what I want to do.
It means a lot to people.
It does. Like, that's what I want to do, is let people know that you care. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. When you talk about being vulnerable, is that a good thing? Is it a good trait?
I think it depends on the situation, but for the most part, yeah, I think so, because it's a human trait. I am a person, and you learn a lot through vulnerability, and hopefully, you should hopefully learn through it. And that's like in anything. Like, it could be like after my accident, I was super vulnerable because I was weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's part of being vulnerable. Jumping out and doing something different That's being vulnerable. Talking in front of a big group of people, doing this thing with you, that's being vulnerable. People knowing that I've been in the psych center and I'm bipolar and like had suicidal thoughts, and like that's huge. That's being vulnerable, you know? It puts you in a position to even feel less than. It doesn't mean that you are less than, but you could feel that way. And the point is you have to learn from it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you can progress from there. I think that, I guess to answer that would be yes, it is a good thing, because it's a good thing if you learn from it.
Right. I've been trying to be more vulnerable in my life. It's hard to do, especially as a man with a family. But I see when I let my guard down a little bit that good things happen. You know, putting myself out there. I probably wouldn't have done that 5-10 years ago. But a lot of good is happening from it. So to your point, I think it is a good thing. I think it's a human trait. I think not enough people are willing to let their guard down, to be somewhat vulnerable or completely vulnerable. But you and I both know that can lead to good, positive change.
Beautiful things. Beautiful change. Beautiful things. I wish that people could understand that. Everybody, listen. It does. It's great. Put yourself out there. It's important. There are a couple of people that are, besides my family and my parents, that have been like huge influencers to me, that literally like life-changing people. One of them being my really great, amazing friend, Adam Weitzman. I love him so much. I think that I owe a lot of my business savvy stuff to him, and even a lot of life things I owe to him. You were talking about building my brand, and he would say to me that like you are your brand. So whatever it is that I need to like get across to people, I have to live it. You know what I'm saying? Like what do I want? What do I want? And that my reputation is like everything. So like who do I want to be? I think about that. Who do I want to be? I don't want to be a liar, so I'm not going to be fake, and I'm going to, your reputation also precedes you. You're a prime example. Like, you reached out to me, and I was like, no way, nobody asked you to ask me to do this, So I guess that's going in the right direction. And
I'm totally in line with that thinking.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in yourself and your own image, how can you build a brand around it?
Exactly.
And you're doing that. You're living it.
Thank you.
And building that brand.
Thank you. And then, Derek, he's just amazing, literally amazing. I've learned so much from him, also business-wise and then training-wise, and like a lot. And then even life stuff. He's like a big brother to me. I don't even think he knows this. I don't even think he knows that's how I see him. It literally, like, he's like family to me. He's been a lot, and like I had told you before, that like he will stop like everything and be like, hey, how can I help you? Because he knows, he sees me all the time. He'll see, ups and downs, and he's like, how can I help you? I want to help you.
And he's
something.
The owner of?
Yeah, he's the owner. He's in charge. He's the man. Yeah.
But that probably gives you a lot of confidence that the owner of the facility is putting his trust in you. But then on top of that, if you need a helping hand in some way, he's there.
Yeah.
I could see how that's a big brother.
It is. It's amazing. It's great. And I feel so, I don't even know the word. I feel literally so blessed to have stumbled upon his business. Because one day I was literally driving one day. I was on Facebook. Sorry. I was driving and I was on Facebook, and he was like, looking for somebody to do this, to work at his gym. And I was like, let me do it. And I did it. He responded immediately. We talked, and I met him probably the next day. And then from then on, we have built this thing into what it is. And he is like the mastermind behind it all. And I just go there and make people laugh.
But everyone has their strengths, right?
Yes.
So, and those are good partnerships. We call them joint ventures in this business, where you're teaming up with someone else. You both have strengths and utilize those strengths to each other's advantage. I'm sure you're bringing in clientele. He's bringing the facility and everything else that comes along with it, right?
Yeah, he brings them in. I try to make them stay. I try to make them like me.
I'm sure you don't have any problem with that.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes I might have a problem with it, but yeah, I owe a lot to him, to both of them. But I owe a lot to Derek. He's been, like, how long have I known him? Like almost 3 years now. It's been great. I don't have complaints about any of it.
Where do you see yourself going in the future? Where do you see yourself in 3, 5, 10 years from now?
You know, I'm a planner, so I have plans for all of those things. In 3 years, well, actually, in all of those, 3, 5, and 10, I see myself, you know, doing the same thing, but growing on top of it. Doing some more. I always want to be doing more. I always want to push it. I want to push the envelope. I want to do some more. I want to touch more people. That's what my goal is. My goal is to impact positively as many people as possible from wherever it is that I am. You know, I see myself still in this area, you know, because I'm a big family person. I want to be around my family, and we're here. But I don't want that to limit what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Through training, through speaking, through coaching, you know, all of this wellness stuff, I want to be bigger. You know what I mean? That's what I see.
And do you see yourself building your brand online at all?
Yeah, I was doing that for a while, but I don't know that is like my favorite thing still. You know, I like it, I love it, and I'm happy doing it. But I actually like to see it happening, if that makes sense. I like it.
If you could talk to someone halfway across the world, or halfway across our country, or all the way across our country, and you could talk to them on a video call and teach them,
okay,
would you be?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I think you'd be really good at it.
Yeah, in that way, if I could see them, I
Yes.
would like that. I would love that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I would just be able to, I don't want to be limited by location.
Right.
That's what it is. I don't want to be limited by location. So I guess, you know, the age that we're in, so it would probably be an online presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I have to tell you, I'm really impressed with you, of course, very much. But all the millennials that have sat in that chair, I'm just blown away. I mean, I was talking to Nick about this yesterday. I don't know if it's because of technology that your generation seems so much far advanced than we were in your thinking, in your evolution process, 10, 15 years ahead of where I was. What do you think of your generation?
I think that's accurate somewhat. If you get it, then you get it. If you don't get it, then you're not.
So you see both?
Yeah, I see both sides of that. I feel like it depends on who you are, and you know, if you are somebody that is open, like we talked about, if you're somebody that's open to doing the work, that's what we call it, is doing the work. If you're open to doing the work, then yeah, you're definitely going to be here, because just with the technology that we have today, you can do all of that. You can talk to all of these people. You can research things. You can learn so much stuff. If you're willing to do it, go through whatever it is you have to do to learn this, and then translate into that, and then, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you are willing to do that, then you're great. And there's other people that are not, and you know, they'll evolve.
Yeah. What do you feel about the generation ahead of you? My generation, Generation X.
I still think there's a lot of things that my generation can learn from yours. Still, I appreciate your generation for the. I feel like you guys are way harder working, and you understand things in a different way. I don't want to say. I don't want to say that you guys understand. It's true. You guys understand what it means to actually do work, to do things, to get to where you're wanting to be. And that's stuff that is great that has been passed down, you know what I'm saying, to my generation, the people that understand it and can do it and use the tools that we have now and the hard work that you guys had. And if we could put those two things together, then that's amazing.
What are our weaknesses?
I think
what
that
can our generation
in
work
your
on?
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but in your generation, I feel like you're stuck in your ways, like stuck in the mode that like you must work this amount of time or else it's not going to work. Like no, you can cut that down and be more efficient in another way. I think that's probably the only thing that is really different, really, really different. It's like hours doesn't translate into success to me. It's what you do within the hours that you're given.
Great advice.
Yeah.
I could clearly see that.
Yeah.
If you could go back and talk to the 18-year-old, 20-year-old Ariel.
I don't want to talk to her.
What advice would you give her? What advice would you give?
I would tell myself a few things. I'd say stay away from this person, stay away from that person, stay away from that.
Because of what?
Because of the you know what, not even. No, I wouldn't, because the outcomes have all been great of all the bad things that have happened to me, or the bad stuff that I have endured. After all of that, everything has been great. I'm great.
So in some ways, those difficult times were purposeful times.
Yeah, purposeful. It was everything serves a purpose. So I guess my piece of advice to myself would be probably listen to my mom. Listen to your mom. She knows what she's talking about. Definitely knows what she's talking about. Well, you know what? I've always listened to her anyway, in my own way. Probably not fully. If I listened fully, then shit, I would have been like in like better shape. But I'm good. I'm great how I am, and I'm happy about all of the experiences that I've had. I don't really regret much of anything, because it's just another layer to my onion of myself. You know, I like me. I hope other people like me.
That's great.
But that would probably be it. I should listen to people that have been there. But I still would like to go through the things myself.
Good.
Yeah.
And you took my next question. I was going to ask you if you had any regrets, and it doesn't sound like you do.
No, I sure don't. I think that things pan out the way that they're supposed to. And I firmly believe that, like, people can talk to me till they're blue in the face, and my friends and my family know this. Like, my support system, they know that. They can tell me, Ariel, don't do that. Like, don't venture down that way. But I'm still gonna fucking do what I want, you know? That's just how I am. I would rather experience the things. I would rather experience something and say, all right, that didn't work. Okay, now I can move on, because I that's just who I am. Is I exhaust every option, and then you can do something else, because it's just my personality. Whether it be a good thing or a bad thing, it is who I am. Well, and that's a good thing, actually, when you think about it in positive terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a negative situation, put that in a positive situation, then I'm doing everything possible to make this thing work, and it does. And then I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I did everything I could, so it makes me happy. I like that about myself.
What about honesty?
Huge. That's huge. I don't know. What about it?
How important is it to you?
It's the most important thing. It's the most important thing. You can't be a solid individual if you're not honest. You just can't. You can't. If you are, if you don't tell the truth, if you are like hiding stuff, if you're a sneaky person, like I just don't, it's not good. Remember I was talking about do things that make you feel good. If you're doing stuff that makes you not feel good, then you're not really honest. You're not honest with yourself or whatever it is that you're doing, like was your business or your relationships or something. You know what I'm saying? Like if you feel like it's not a good thing, then it's fucking not. So don't do it. You know, that's how I was raised, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really have an example, but like I'm sure that a person that is a shady business person doesn't feel good about what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So don't be that. Don't be that person. If it feels wrong, don't do it.
It's funny, I was in my friend's office last week, and he said, I want you to record a phone call for me. I have to call someone back. So he dials the number, and they answer. They say, nice egg, gas and electric. And he says, yeah, I'm returning a call that I had. And he gave him his name. They said, oh, yes, name of his restaurant. You owe us $1,093, and you need to pay that immediately or we're going to shut off your gas and electric. Now, I didn't know that it was someone that was not being honest.
Like a scammer.
It was a scammer. So, but I recorded the call, and it was unbelievable how they were trying to get him to go get, cards at the pharmacy to wire money, and that he couldn't go to the office to do it. But it just, you made me think of, dishonest business people. And people have to be careful because there's all kinds of scams like this, especially today online with social media. You have to be really careful about who's on the other side.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you could be that way.
Yeah.
I just don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like
I feel bad for elderly people who are rushing out to go take their hard-earned money, the little that they may have, and putting it on a prepaid card and sending it to someone halfway across the world that is just stealing their money. It's
That's
bad.
Annoying.
Yeah. But I do have one last question.
Okay.
And we'd like to talk about legacy here at American Real because everyone's story is a legacy. Everyone has their own story. That's our tagline. Mm-hmm. You have an amazing story. I cannot wait to share this with the world.
Thank you.
But I'm curious if you think about that. Do you think about your legacy? Do you think about what you want to leave while you're here? And God willing, 60, 70 years from now, when you're gone?
Man, no. Honestly, I don't think that I have. But the one thing that just popped into my mind was that I want to impact people positively. I want to show people that they're loved and cared about and that they matter. That's what I want. That's what I want, that you matter. Like, even just in my work, like, you matter enough to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Take care about yourself enough to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's really what I want. That's really what I want, is I want people to just be happy. I want to be happy. It makes me happy to make other people happy. So that's what I try to do. I try to spread that everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ariel Hendricks, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. You have an amazing future ahead of you, and I cannot wait to continue to watch to see what you do.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. And you get a hug.
Yeah.